This episode will be completely taken out of context. Welcome to the Fact Check This podcast.
Alright, Fact Check This podcast, episode 49, for real this time. And today, let's talk about the failures of the Biden administration thus far. A few weeks ago, I talked about the Biden cabinet and some of the problems I had with all of them. And there's a beautiful headline this morning that the head of the Homeland Security Department is saying that the board. So Alejandro Mayorkas, the head of Homeland Security, has stated that the border is closed. We are expelling families. We are expelling single adults, and we have made a decision that we will not expel young, vulnerable children. Instead, they're putting them in cages. See, I talked about this with Mayorkas because while the Obama administration built the cages and the Trump administration continued to use the cages, this motherfucker right here was like the ultimate champion of the cages. I'd have to look. I think he may very well have been the architect of the idea for the cages even. But like, he has been the foremost champion of putting people in cages since the Obama administration. And he's the guy who's in charge of the Department of Homeland Security now. So obviously they're going to keep using the cages. Like, they said no one would be deported for the first 100 days of the Biden presidency. And everybody just thought, well, that meant no more kids in cages, right? Wrong. That just meant everybody gets put in a cage. No deportations for 100 days. So we're just going to overflow these facilities. And they can call them migrant overflow facilities or whatever they want. It's still kids in cages and everybody else still in cages. Building new cages. Putting up additional cages so they can house more people. They have an absolute overflow right now. Like, these facilities are holding way more people than what they're meant to. These are like legitimately abuses and crimes against these people. And instead of deporting them and sending them back, or not letting them in to begin with, they're bringing them in and they're shuffling them into the cages that everybody was in an uproar about Trump having kids in cages. Hey, I don't understand, and people are defending this. People are defending this. Like, the people who thought it was such a travesty that Trump's administration was doing it are now defending the Biden administration doing it. And I've talked about, like, it's pointless to try to argue hypocrisy with the left because they just absolutely don't give a shit. Like, it doesn't matter. That's the game they play. Like, they lay out the rules, and these are the rules. And if you break the rules, then you're bad. But they don't abide by the rules at all. Like, the only reason that they create the rules is so that they know how far those who are playing by the rules are willing to go, so that they can go even further. And then on top of that, you've also got so there was the whole thing with Biden and his interview with Stephanopoulos, where he referred to Putin as a killer, and then after that they pulled their representative. Russia pulled their representative back home, and Putin referred to Biden as a senile old man. Basically, I think is what it like. So he's trying to start a second world war, or a second Cold War with Russia, and China is also pissed off at the Biden administration. We're very quickly working our way towards a Cold War with China as well, and that'll work out real well for everybody, I'm sure. But it's also been put out there that North Korea has refused to talk to anyone in the Biden administration. They want nothing to do with the Biden administration. And Department of the Secretary of Defense, old warmonger Lloyd Austin of Raytheon, came out and said, "We're ready to go to war with them right now. We can go tomorrow." This guy has literally made millions upon millions of dollars as a complete fucking warmonger. Imagine that. Imagine him coming out the next day and saying, "Yeah, we're ready to go to war right now. Let's do it. Let's crank up this military-industrial complex and we can give some more defense contracts to Raytheon. That way my stock will continue to go up. I can be even more rich and we can bomb the world into oblivion." Imagine that they want to ramp that up. And let's continue on with the other promises of the Biden administration that haven't come true. He said he wasn't going to stop fracking, shut down oil pipelines and fracking literally within the first week. Said he made all this big deal about ruling by executive order, signed more executive orders on the first fucking day he was in office than any other president has in their entire administration possibly. By the time he got through his first week in office, I'm pretty sure he had signed more executive orders than any other president had done in their entire term. Week one, here we are, off to a good start. Let's see. Then we've got the new taxes. Nobody making more than $400,000. Nobody making more than $400,000. And they've already announced that it's actually... the cutoff is going to be $200,000, and that's just for now. How long before they decide to dial that back? Before long, it's going to be $150,000, $120,000. They're going to be coming after people making less than $100,000 pretty soon. It's insane, and the reason for that is people don't understand numbers and money and how all of this works. But that's neither here nor there. That gets into more about the stuff with the education department and everything that I hate about that. It is just end over end, constantly. These are the things that were said, and it's not like anybody expected otherwise. Everybody knows that politicians lie. But you don't expect it to just be so blatant in the first week, right? We're 2 months in, and nothing that was said in any of the campaign promises has come true. It's all been just outrightly gone in reverse. And, his press secretary, Paskey, just keep saying we'll circle back to it. Maybe one of these days we'll get to talk about something. They don't let Biden actually do press conferences. He got to have a cupcake interview with George Stephanopoulos. They've been parading him around for the past couple weeks, showing him getting on helicopters and airplanes. Where's he going? He's not going anywhere to talk to people. He's not doing press conferences when he gets there. He's not there's not meet and greets happening. Are they just shuffling him around and flying him all over the place so that they can pretend they're not hiding him away in a basement somewhere? It is absolutely insane. I don't even know where to go with this anymore. At this point, for all the jokes that it was going to be Obama 2.0, if you really look at this, we're already bombing Iran again, going after Syria, bombing Iranian-backed forces in Syria. So we're continuing to bomb the shit out of Syria for no fucking reason, and ramping up escalation tensions with Iran all over again. Here we are. At this point, it's not even Obama 2.0. This is George W. Bush 2.0. And the crazy thing about it is leftists and Democrats are going to support this and back this and act like this is something good and necessary. What a crock of shit. It is beyond comical. It is beyond comical at this point. And speaking of crazy and comical, I'm sure everybody's keeping track with the shooting in Atlanta and how white supremacists are trying to destroy the country, this time by killing off Asian people, except that the guy wasn't actually a white supremacist. Um, he has a documented history of what is effectively mental illness. He has it was like it is documented. He talked about it. He has doctor's records. He was receiving treatment apparently. Like he has some sort of an Asian fetish and like a sexual deviance, and like he identified these spas as a source of temptation for him that would be problematic for his condition. And he, for lack of a better explanation, from the way I've read and heard about it, and from what I've been able to collect of it, he has a mental condition. He has an Asian fetish. He is he has a sexual fetish, and he identified these spas as places that would trigger his fetish and cause him to do things that he's trying not to do. So in response, he shot these places up. That is horrible. But that is clearly not, it's not a hate crime. It's not racially motivated in the way that the media wants to spin it. Like, yes, he targeted specific race and a specific gender, but his targeting was not for any white supremacist, like nothing to do with Trump or the coronavirus or anything that the mainstream media has been running with for the narrative for why this guy did any of this. It was a mentally ill person doing things that in his mind he had justification for, but it wasn't like a hate crime. I don't know. But if you just scroll through the headlines this morning, like all of the facts and all of the actual reality of the situation are being completely ignored in favor of looking at this through the lens of hate crime, racism, white supremacy, Trump supporters being connected to the Trump rhetoric of China virus and everything like that. And it's fucking asinine to think that like this is the narrative that they continue to run with, even when there is like blatant evidence that is not in any way the actual case. So at this point, I don't see how anybody can have any level of trust in the media whatsoever, because like this isn't the only scenario or the only case where the evidence is 100% contradicting of what the narrative is, and they just completely ignore all of the evidence to run this narrative. I don't know how people, and everything's racist. Literally everything. Oh God, I should have just saved them all, and I could just give a list. I saw at least 6 to 8 articles over the weekend that explained why different things were racist. Things that have literally never, at any point in history, been considered racist in any way. Things that should not have any consideration as being racist. Like, trading stocks is racist. And certain, Voting is racist, obviously. What else was it? Gosh, I wish I could. I got to go back and look them all up. But, I mean, you could just type in a Google search, is racist, and it's going to pop up everything that is racist. And it's going to explain to you why it's racist. Like, there's going to be actual supposed journalists who have written entire puff pieces about why trading stocks is racist, or why anything and everything. I'm sure doing a podcast is racist. I'm just fulfilling the racist stereotype here by doing a podcast. Like, everything is racist at this point. Oh, the good one. Columbia University is holding 7 different graduations. 7. They have their white they're white. They have the regular graduation, which is like the white people graduation, basically. But then they also have a black graduation, an Asian graduation, a lower income graduation, an LGBTQ graduation, a Latinx graduation, and I feel like there was one other that I'm missing. Obviously, because I'm a racist, I forgot what the other one was. So all of these, like, you can choose to attend the regular graduation, right? But you have to be of that specific group to attend any of the others. And they're being attacked or not attacked. Columbia University is getting criticized because this is racist and segregationist. And they're trying to defend it. But the reason that they're getting attacked for this being racist and segregationist is because it abso-fucking-lutely is! That is the definition of fucking segregation, is to not let people attend, like, not to let everybody come together and do it, to break them all up and have them do it separately. The college campuses are a fucking cesspool. There are college campuses that are going back to segregated housing, to having black-only dorms. I don't even know where to fucking start with this. Like, everything that was fought for in the civil rights era was to do away with this sort of behavior. And now they are willingly and actively trying to bring it back. I have no doubt Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would be rolling over in his grave if he knew what they are doing to all the progress that was made over the last 40 years. This is insane. Absolutely insane. And here we are, living in a fucking clown world. I'll wrap on that. I'll be back on Wednesday. I'm going to have a chat with Evan Johnson, who had come on episode 22. We talked about COVID and lockdowns and all of that insanity back on episode 22. We're going to get back together actually here in about 2 hours and talk about the vaccines and all of this stuff. We're basically, Evan is my South Park special guest. We did a lockdown episode, and now we're going to do a vaccine episode. And in the meantime, while you wait for Wednesday's episode where we talk about COVID, go check out the South Park vaccine special. I thought it was pretty funny. And if you're not into South Park, check out the Justice League Snyder Cut. That was really good. All right, that's all the plugging of TV shows that you need to watch between now and Wednesday. I'll be back on Wednesday, and I hope you have a good one in the meantime.